Oh, what's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Traxy Demon Queen, and today we are once again talking about Fairy Tail. But before we get into it, as always, toss like and subscribe down below. So today we are going to be talking about the other dimensional from Fairy Tail, Lucy. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. And yes, that was a terrible happy impression of happy saying Lucy, as he would say in the series. So let's go ahead. We'll take a look at her abilities here. Right, Celestial Spirit Mage summon. She gets 700 initial energy. That's huge. That is a ton of initial energy. It's going to allow her to ult very early on. So Lucy calls out Aquarius, Celestial Spirit, to assist her in her battle. It's a summon. It works very much like a Mr. Carlisle. The closest comparison I compare her to is Cia. Aquarius has 120% of Lucy's max HP, 100% of Lucy's other stats. Upon entering battle, Aquarius conjures a water swirl that strikes the one tile area with the most enemies, dealing damage, and then affected, they're knocked up and stunned for 2 seconds, right? So she has some CC, and then this happens again every 10 seconds. Now, Lucy kick, right? This is from the series. This is kind of like, oh, I don't have any more summons for the day. I gotta do something. I'm just gonna kick them. Lucy delivers a powerful kick to the enemy who has dealt the most cumulative damage, similar to like a Lenga or like an Athalia targeting, dealing damage plus stunning them for 2.5 seconds. She returns to her original position, and then she remains unaffected while using this skill. Alright, Stardress Aquarius form. Lucy's ultimate transforms her into Aquarius for the rest of battle. This is something that we see in the anime where she kind of like synergizes with the Celestial Spirit. She summons and she gains like abilities based on that spirit in addition to summoning that spirit. So while in this form, she conjures water swirls that strike the one tile area with the most enemies. So she deals damage, and then she is going to knock them in the air for 2 seconds, right? So we're getting kind of like 2 stuns off here. But she only does this with her ult up. Then again, she ults pretty quick. We'll talk about that later though. Her hero focus, I like it a little bit better than Natsu's. It just increases by 20. Water barrier, this is her EX ability. Aquarius or Lucy is in Aquarius form, can cast a water barrier that grants a shield and blocks damage. It lasts 8 seconds. And then at plus 10, it increases her range defense by 50. And then her enhanced force is just increase Aquarius's attack speed by 80. One thing I will note is that when the ad dies, Aquarius dies, that's it, it's gone. Unlike with a Floribel or with a Burial or the other, it works more like Hodgkin in that sense, right? Once the ads are dead, that's it, they're dead, they don't get re-summoned. That's kind of important to note when it comes to a PvP and stages. So we'll go into stages. We'll take a look here. Here I'm running her with Natsu. I was just testing some things out. I think one of the biggest problems is her range of 3. I was on a Thorin stage earlier. She kept getting killed by Thorin. So we can speed this up. But we're just not going to have the damage to get through it. So while Natsu can do, you see some nice damage here. And Lucy can offer some, CC on these front mobs. We just don't have the damage to get through the stage. So here you're actually also able to see Natsu. See, Lucy just dies here. She's a little bit squishy again. She's a mage. Alright, so if we look at the damage. Her damage was not like super duper great. Again, this is a pain of an ass stage. So here we can look at her here. Now I think I could have got this with Natsu, but hey, we're gonna run a Lucy instead. So we can use her with these talent tiles. I think that's fine. We'll get to see her CC ability in place. Kind of what I want to do though is we want to, like, this type of stage, we want to manual errand. So so we'll just do this to try and group them all up as best as possible, because again, getting them grouped up is going to help out Lucy with her stun. So you can see she gets her ult out at 84 seconds, 83 seconds, depending on if she's grouped up. So now we have them grouped up, and she's going to add that additional CC in there, right? Which is nice. So from like a CC perspective, she has a lot of synergy with the Aaron Olmis comps. So I could see her being used in early push, Arcane Labs, that type of situation. So what we'll do here is we'll run it out. If we get it, great. If we don't get it, we'll just check the damage. Because then we can determine, like, right, is she a heavy hitter? Is she not a heavy hitter? And I don't think we're gonna get it, because I just don't think we have the damage. So like we have the control factor, and the control factor is nice. And you can see this is her summon over here, and they keep summoning and stunning together. And you can see, if we can see her out over here, you can see her here. Let's pause it. So you can barely see it, but there she is in the other form. So she does her kick. We're just not going to have the damage to get through that. That's the problem. That's the struggle at high deficit pushing, right? We have the control. We can lock down the enemies, but we just don't have the damage to get through them. So we can check her damage. So you can see her damage here. It's not too bad damage-wise. It's just not what we need to get through the stage. So from a PvE perspective, she has no use for a Dream Realm right now. I didn't even bother testing her. I just didn't want to waste my run, because she has more of that CC ability, right? So you wouldn't run like a Tassie on a boss necessarily. So you're not going to run a Lucy, right? Unless you absolutely like have no choice. So when it comes to something like a Ravaged Realm, I don't really see her having a use, especially since I think she got lumped. Where did she get lumped in? So she got lumped in with the Wilders. I don't think she's going to have a use there. You know, unless it's like we really need to go down in the roster for damage. But the thing is, now we've got a Lily May, and we have gotten Faramore this season. So I think that's kind of like, we always had that like one spot, it felt like, with the Wilders that was just like questionable, right? So we're gonna run the twins, and you know, in the last season, I think we ended up running a Dio in some comps. I think Faramore is pretty much just gonna replace Dio there. And so I don't see a Lucy getting used in a Ravaged Realm. Now, it is worth noting, you do get a Lucy up to a Mythic Plus through the event. Yes, I have her at Supreme Plus here. I just pulled off, so I did a mix of pulling off the banner or pulling off of the other thing. So we could talk a little bit about the banner, because I didn't talk about it in the Natsu one. But basically, it works just like your dual banner, right? So it's a dual selector, and you just select this. As for the gacha part, I should have covered this. We do get this, which here is really nice. You do get the option to buy. You get 8 copies here of Lucy and 1 copy of Natsu for 500 Dragon Crystals. This is insane. So essentially, for the cost of a 40 pull, which is 1,000, so this is nuts too. You get 15 copies up to from here. That's insane. The value here is just tremendous, right? So if you're spending, definitely go for this one. That is your best bet by far. And large, the other ones are kind of, I think, meh. Definitely go for here if you're going to spend. Alright, so as for, you know, PvP, I did do some testing here. If we go in, I think Here we Natsu. It's tough to remember where I tested everybody, right? Because I've been testing so many. That was more Natsu testing. Here that was more Natsu. Just because I pushed Natsu to Paragon 3, I did more testing. Just because I didn't see Lucy as it being that viable. Yeah, see, it's pretty much all. Alright, so here we do have a Lucy test against Dark Knight. It's Arena 1. You know, I don't know if this is an old school, like, Lily May Stall team. Not too great. But we can see that Lucy does do a fair amount of damage. So let's check this out with the tiles. See, she didn't even get her ult off, and she did like a fair amount of damage here. So that was her getting her first ult off. We just burned right through them. It's just that kick can do so much damage. So yeah, I mean, again, it's gonna be anytime you run ranged or like control. Here again, we have Lucy. This time she does nothing. The issue is she's not on the conceal tile, so she just kind of gets deleted. See, Lily May just destroys her there, so she is very squishy. So you do need to find ways to hide her, to protect her. We do use them here against techies. He's not really running anything. We do run with Storm Strike. So, well, kind of like, again, it's just that Lily May stall team. So we can run it and see it here. So you see, while she's concealed, she does pretty good. So I think her damage numbers are definitely there for PvP. I just don't know if we go against like higher Paragon. I think that was all the testing I did because I did limit her pulling. Yeah, it's mostly just Natsu testing because I think he was the bigger of the two by far. She's pretty decent. Would I say she's a must-have? No, I think she's going to be a just kind of like a nice-to-have. I think she's better on the PvE side for your control comp. So, like, early push, again, where I'm at, we're still at a considerable high deficit, even though, you know, I've dropped off in my day's progress. But you can see here, we're at almost a 600 level. We do have about 200 on the records, but we're not getting it with Lucy, where we could run one of these other squads and just kind of like potentially get it there. So yeah, do I think she, like I said, I don't think either of them are a must-have. They're just kind of a nice to have. So if you do miss out on them, I don't know that you're necessarily missing that much. Again, she's not really going to have that much application in a Dream Realm. And again, she's going to suffer from the same issue that all the Dimensionals have right now, and is they don't add to the faction bonuses, which could be a problem. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Good luck on your pulls, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!